Thank you so much for watching Morning Live. Now, continuing with the issue of violence against foreigners, the Philani Valley residents in Umlazi South of Durban are denying any claims by the African Solidarity Network that foreign nationals were attacked in the area over the weekend. In turn, the locals are blaming foreign nationals for killing 44-year-old Bhekani Madlala on Saturday. The African Solidarity Network is adamant that foreign nationals in Umlazi are under attack and has called on government to intervene. And joining us now in Umlazi South is our journalist Mlungisi Khumalo, who spoke to locals about the alleged attacks. Now, Mlungisi, good morning. If you could just tell us a little bit more about the feeling on the ground at the moment.
Good morning to you over there at studios, and as a good morning to our viewers at home as well. You know, currently this time of the month, this saloon just behind me would have been open and there'll be a hive of activities. A lot of people will be coming here to actually cut their hair. But unfortunately, the shop just here behind me remains very closed. Now, the owner of this salon left the area after on Saturday night it emerged that the community members were actually hunting down foreigners in the area after it was alleged that 40-year-old Bhekani Madlala was allegedly murdered by foreigners. Now, yesterday, as the SABC, we came here on the ground at Philani Valley in Umlazi, south of Durban, just to try and solicit some of the views by some of the residents. And quite interesting enough, some of the residents actually said to us that they are not against foreign nationals and that they want them to come back and operate in their area, as they are very, very helpful. Some of them actually run tuck shops and they run salons as well. Now, what I can confirm with you as well is that currently I understand that in KwaZulu-Natal we've got 2 transit camps where foreigners are actually staying. We've got one in Sherwood in the Burnwood area, and we've got the other one in the Konya Center in Durban. Now, we understand that in both those camps, some of the foreigners that are staying in those camps are saying that they are fearing for their lives and that they cannot go back into their communities because some of the community members want to attack them. Now, also quite interesting enough, there was a letter that was circulated around, which was written by some of the foreigners. Now, in that letter, some of the contents of that letter really just say, some of them saying in the letter that they really apologize to the community if some of the foreigners have committed crime in their area. Now, we also understand that some of the foreigners have actually now come back after yesterday the community made an urgent plea for them to come back. I don't know if Raymond can actually zoom to the shop. That is Sandabantu tuck shop. Now, we understand that in that tuck shop alone, the owner of that tuck shop, Mr. Abdul Mohammed, actually is operating today after the community called on him to come back in the area and start operating. Now, those are some of the views that we've gotten from some of the community members, and we also understand that today at around 2 o'clock the community is going to have a mass meeting whereby they'll also be inviting some of the foreigners, where they are going to sit down telling them that they can come back to the community, they can be reintegrated. Now, we also understand that yesterday the Minister of International Relations, Lindiwe Sisulu, as well as the Minister of Police, held a meeting with the various ambassadors of other African countries, and in that meeting they were able to conclude that some of the elements or some of the attacks that transpired in KwaZulu-Natal were actually criminal elements. But without further ado, let me now welcome our guest, Daniel Dunya from the Africa Solidarity Network. Thank you very much, Daniel, for your time. Now, you as an organization who looks after foreigners in South Africa, you are calling for foreigners to be reintegrated back into the community.
Good morning, and yes, that is what we want. We want all foreigners who've been victims of xenophobia attack to be reintegrated back in their communities and carry on with their life.
Now, we understand that according to you, you still believe that foreigners are not safe in the various townships across South Africa.
Yes, indeed. Most of the foreigners are not safe in the township because there's not much of programs which have been done in the communities in order to facilitate a peaceful integration process. So people are integrating themselves. So that is the fear we are having, because there's no program to deal with the integration process. The xenophobic attack can erupt anytime and then people can be victims.
Now, we understand that today at around 2 o'clock there will be a community engagement. Are you optimistic that that meeting will yield good results?
Yes, I believe in community engagement. Yesterday we were at the police station and we agreed today we're going to have a meeting with all stakeholders and try to see what will be the best way to assist people to come back in their communities, engage the community on the issues which they raise and pave the way for the people to go back in their respective communities.
And lastly, Daniel, I understand that you visited two of the makeshift camps, one in Benwood and the other in the Diaconia Center at the heart of the CBDs. What has been the general mood among some of the foreigners as well?
Yeah, people are displaced, are fearful. Some they are willing to go, but there's still the element of fear within them. And most of them, they lost everything. And this makes them to be reluctant to go back to their communities. But our aim, what we want to achieve is that we work with the communities, the local leadership, and the displaced people, so we can allow the process of reintegration. People can go back to their communities. We need to engage the local communities, the citizen, and speak to them so they can be able to understand the plight of migrants and accept them back in the community and live in peace and harmony.
Thank you very much for your time there. That's Daniel Dunya from the Africa Solidarity Network. Now, you recall that in our interview, he made it categorically clear that as a NGO, they want some of the foreign nationals to come back into the community. They want them to be reintegrated. And most importantly, they are calling for calm amongst all South Africans. Now, you understand that when Cyril Ramaphosa spoke on Saturday, he actually made the same clearing call, saying that South Africans should become more tolerant of foreigners, as foreign countries in Africa played a pivotal role in our time of the liberation struggle. Over back to you in studio.
All right, Mlungisi, thank you very much for updating us there on the situation. Mlungisi Khumalo is out in Umlazi South talking about xenophobia and some of the issues. You've been reading some of the most incredible tweets that we've been receiving from some of our viewers.
And which is why I always say to people, don't stop engaging, because we actually do read your comments, because it's amazing, some wonderful, wonderful thoughts coming through and sentiments that people share. So we will try and bring up more of those so that we can share them with you. But absolutely, this one, for example, from Mfanam Kulu, who says, xenophobia is very bad, but the very same diplomats who are quick to rebuke South Africa are stone quiet when their presidents are killing and persecuting citizens, leading to an exodus to South Africa.
Another one here from Dr. Science Quinder saying the xenophobic attacks are a sign of lacking morals and cultural values due to poor living conditions and hunger. The African land is fertile. African leaders must unite and build one capable continent to amass and create jobs in all strides of industries. Their socialism is key for all. Nicely put.
Landum Flaba says, in fact, it's more than xenophobia, it's Afrophobic, because these attacks are targeted mainly against black Africans.
Yeah, all right. And then one I've got here, Minister of Unemployment, Tsepo, saying the big problem is that our foreign brothers take advantage in our country, and the government also give them better privileges than us. If you go to Hillbrow or Sunnyside, you will see what I'm talking about.
Simbarashe says, good morning. It's a combined effort of criminology and xenophobia, because there's looting and killing, and don't rule out xenophobia because some locals don't like foreign nationals. The government is ruling out xenophobia because they failed to address the problem several times.
Let's put some of your tweets up. I mean, we've been reading your tweets, but we're going to put some up on air as well. Let's see who this is from. Sipho Tibani. I don't understand the logic of accusing them of expired food, but then loot the same shop of the expired food. For me, that's criminality at work.
And Nyana says they fit both criteria. During the dark days, freedom fighters, Apla, MK, etc. were housed in these countries. Africa for Africans, Africa for humanity. We are all Africans.
The journey. If you say these foreigners are criminals, so you actually mean all of them are, which to me is totally ludicrous. Let's say they're so prove it.
We had that one from Simbarashe. We saw that one. Roka says, why can't people accept that it's xenophobic attacks? And if it was criminality, they could be attacking locals too.
Oti saying this is criminality, where in an African country you have heard that South Africans are being killed because they are South African. None.
Simpiwe says we must redefine xenophobia first. Our neighbors, churchmates, teammates, classmates, comrades in political organizations, colleagues at work, etc. are foreign nationals with whom we share all that which we have. Therefore, it's myopic to coin it any criminality or criminal activity or coin any criminal activity xenophobia.
And then Manny Chucky saying, in trains, workplaces, in communities and on radio program, comments we hear, these foreigners must go mantra. Xenophobia and racism is real in South Africa. Gosh, people having a lot to say about this issue.
Absolutely, and always, they always do.
Yeah.
And I think it's important not to stifle, those views and to stop people from expressing what it is that they feel about it, because when you know what people think, when you know how they feel, it gives you a better opportunity to address the ills that may exist or that may arise from that. So it's important, but at the same time, we need to be careful not to cross that line.
Yeah.
Someone yesterday on the radio show said to me, the problem is we give so much attention and we air all of these views, and this just further fuels the fire.
You're right.
But it's a fine balance that you have to strike. You cannot muzzle people. You cannot stop them from expressing their views, provided that those views, of course, don't trample on the rights of others.
Absolutely, it is a fine line, as you say. All right, we're going to, if we've got